Having a lot of trouble picking game two tonight. I'm really disappointed with how yesterday went, like all Yankee fans are. But I've sort of been looking at it from the perspective of, the pitching that we faced. Or I saw this stat that said that the Yankees, that was the first time in franchise history that the Yankees had struck out 13 times and never walked in a playoff game, which is a horrible stat. And I thought, like, man, why didn't we walk? We're a very disciplined team. It was just about Crochet and Chapman throwing strikes. It was a very, conceited effort to just throw strikes, challenge the hitters, put the ball in the zone. And when you're Garrett Crochet, when you're Aroldis Chapman, when you have that kind of spin rate, that kind of movement, that kind of velocity, that's a lot more of that's just a more viable strategy than if you're Brian Bayo. Now, Brian Bayo gets lucky. He's one of the luckier pitchers in the league. He's also good. The Red Sox win his starts, especially I think against I don't know what his record is against the Yankees this year, but he did well against the Yankees this year. I know that to be sure. He does well against the Yankees. But I don't necessarily know if they're going to have the same problem of like that 6-pitch 7th inning last night that was just a masterpiece from Crochet or Chapman getting out of that 9th inning just by, putting the ball over the plate. Because to a certain extent, those 3 singles that the Yankees got to load the bases were all just born of an aggressive mentality of just, swing early in the count. And it'll be interesting to see if that can be sort of a trap for the Yankees, where I think the Yankees made a mistake, and I hope they don't make this mistake tonight, of trying to beat the Red Sox at their own game a little bit, where the Red Sox are a very contact-oriented, bat-to-ball, avoid-the-strikeout type of team. And I think the Yankees tried to go out there and attack a little bit too much, and it almost worked for them there in the 9th inning. And then it stopped working, right? The hitters that came up with a chance to clear the deck, Chisholm, Stanton, came up and got down in counts quickly because they were being too aggressive. But, when the pitcher throws nothing but strikes, you have no choice to get aggressive. That's what I said earlier. I think the Yankees will have a little more success being aggressive off Bayo, but they need to work counts. And to a certain extent, that's only up to Bayo and whether or not he throws strikes. But it's also about the fact that Bayo isn't the pitcher that Garrett Crochet is. He's not the pitcher that Aroldis Chapman is in terms of velocity, in terms of just giddy up on the fastball and the ability for the Yankees to, just swing and miss through it over and over again when they put their best swings on it. I think if the Yankees go up there and really take their A swing off Brian Bayo, especially early in the game, they can get the Red Sox down early, and that has to be the aim. The Yankees have to try to establish a different kind of just vibe to this game in the last one. The atmosphere in the stadium needs to be better, and changing that, getting out to an early lead aggressively is the only way to make that happen, to make the air in the Bronx feel different tonight than it did last night with just that pitcher's duel level anxiety, where it really felt like the only time the crowd could get going was when Max Fried was striking somebody out. And, that's the last thing I'll say. I think that the Yankees have an inherent edge in this game, and that the Red Sox didn't do a great amount off the lefty last night. The Red Sox don't have a lefty tonight, so the Yankees are going to get, obviously, Chisholm and Rice in the lineup tonight, which they should have been in the lineup yesterday, and we can go on a whole rant about that. Ahmed Rosario hitting 5th is a blatant, Cashman, I grabbed him at the deadline, let me hit him 5th in the first game of the playoffs instead of Jazz Chisholm and Ben Rice for some reason. It's glare on my camera, sorry guys. But yeah, the Yankees are going to get to face a righty tonight. Chisholm is going to be out. He's pissed. He's pissed that he didn't play. He didn't even answer questions from reporters last night. In terms of how that's going to affect his future as a Yankee, if we lose this series, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I don't want Jazz gone. I think that it was a bad mistake to piss him off. He should have been playing. He went 30-30 this year. It's really ridiculous. Ben Rice he's a really important part of the team. He's a really important part of the clubhouse already. He's a homegrown guy. It's just weird that neither of them hit. The home run that Volpe hit last night, it was kind of a guess pitch, right? It was 1-2. He guessed fastball on a 2-strike count and guessed right. It's a very, rookie-ish thing to do, right? I don't think a lot of veterans go up there guessing fastball on 1-2. They just go up there reacting. That wasn't really a reaction from Volpe. I think he made up his mind. If you throw me a fastball, I have to swing at it. And I think that Ben Rice, to a certain extent, even as a lefty against a lefty, is capable of that sort of home run. Think that big Greg Bird home run off Andrew Miller. I forget what year it was. It was like maybe I think it was 2017. The 2017 ALDS it would have been. I think Greg Bird hit a really big home run off Andrew Miller, and it was definitely that same sort of thing. Ben Rice could have totally sat there and ran into a crochet fastball. Same thing with Jazz Chisholm. Damn the whole lefty, damn the career stats. I genuinely think Jazz Chisholm and Ben Rice could have hit a home run last night, and it was stupid that they weren't in the lineup. But they're going to be in the lineup tonight. They can run into one tonight. They're obviously, any hitter is more likely, I guess, in a vacuum to hit a home run off Brian Bayo than off Garrett Crochet. Not to insult Brian Bayo, it just is what it is. But, there's a good possibility we could be sitting here tomorrow disappointed because the Yankees laid another egg. That's always a possibility in the playoffs, sadly. But I really am having trouble predicting this game. I don't know what's going to happen, and I for sure have those Yankees elimination game jitters that I did not want to experience. It's almost like, the most optimistic I can be is that if you're going to throw away a game in a 3-game home series that's best 2 out of 3 like this one, you would throw away game 1 against Garrett Crochet. I don't like an elimination game against Brian Bayo. I don't like elimination games against the Red Sox. Our recent playoff history against the Red Sox kind of speaks for itself. The Yankees need to stop shooting themselves in the foot. Like and subscribe.